moment.
Oh yeah, no shit. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that way a lot. I get put in a lot of situations with Marshall where I'm working and my wife wants to get her nails done or her hair done,
Yeah.
especially if it's a hair thing. Where I'm literally giving Marshall for probably like 6 damn hours, and I'm trying to, have meetings and respond to emails. And he's, literally under my desk and poking his head up right in front of me, throwing shit at my head and, breaking shit in the other room. And it's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
And then when in those days, I'm like, listen, I do my part, but there's a reason why we do what we do.
Right. Yeah.
I am over here trying to make some money, and you're getting your fucking hair done. So I do think there should be a little understanding, that
A little balance. Yeah.
a little balance here. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as we both know, it's a full-time job for both partners. And so, I get it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm understanding more too, because early on, when Cassidy's still pregnant, Dad's like, you're going to come home, you're going to be tired, and that's not going to be the case. You're going to have to still, whatever, if it's the kid wants to play with you, wife needs things done, and I definitely see that. It's like you come home and then that's your second job or your forever job, whatever.
Well, I can tell you this much. The playing aspect, that one's becoming real. I haven't had a lot of those moments until, honestly, probably the past month. He's decided that he wants, for me to play with him.
Right.
And his version of playing is, climbing in his tent and hanging out in his tent with him. And, my head's fucking hitting the top of the tent, and I'm sitting there on the floor, and he's shoving toys on top of me, and it's a whole fucking thing. That one's been new. That one's been hard to adjust to, because I personally do not like, to get in the floor in a tent that I can barely fit in.
Right.
And but he wants me to play with him, so I've had to get a little creative with that one. But it's become very sad. That's his new thing. He wants to play, and I get it. And so, like, there's times I'm like, Marshall, I don't want to play. No, play. All right, well, I really don't want to play. Oh no, play. And then it escalates to the point that typically he wins in some fashion, and I find myself on the floor in a tent. But at the same token, I try to remind myself that it doesn't last forever. So enjoy the moments and appreciate everything that comes along with it, including the things that seem like inconveniences at the time.
Yeah. No, that's true. Those times do, and I just getting a glimpse of how fast they grow, and the fact of sometimes when I leave in the morning and then come home, there's 12, 13 hours that have gone by, and you already see the changes in the face, and maybe they're a little longer or whatever, whatever it is. So I can only imagine, the older they get, how more events they get each day, and you fucking blink, you look away for too long, you tell them you don't want to play, that time's gone. No.
Yep, because there's gonna be a time where he's like, "Fuck you, Dad." I don't want to be around you. Like, leave me the fuck alone. So there's those moments, and I try to balance it, but it's tough. I mean, especially if you had a lot going on, and the last thing you want to do is crawl on the floor with your kid, or race him around the house. It's so I'm finding other creative ways where I'm like, he likes to he's got a really good arm. He likes to throw balls. So I've been, playing with him in that fashion. We'll throw the ball back and forth and stuff like that, trying to be a little more creative with it where it still feels like I'm playing with him. Versus,
and I mean, they have to be told how to channel that energy too, right? And what to do and the activities, whatnot. Yeah.
Well, typically, this happens after he's had a shitload of sugar.
Yeah.
This kid loves some damn sugar. Whatever you do, try to keep him away from that. Keep her as far as you can from the sugar, as long as you can, because when they discover that one, oh man, I think it runs in our genes a little bit, so it's a little dangerous.
A little addictive.
Just a little. I mean, dude, I've found him climbing up. I will put some of the stuff in my office, like up high where you can't get to it, and he'll be, dragging chairs into the room and building fucking ladders to get to candy.
Yeah.
So
we actually have a set of friends that they have let's see, he's going on 2, and he knows ice cream as bananas with whipped cream on it.
Oh man. Oh,
because they didn't want to introduce sugar that young, so he gets fucking pumped for his ice cream, and they even take him to an ice cream shop and let him eat it there to really, I guess, psychologically do it. I mean, one day it's gonna be like Santa Claus. Everyone's gonna be like, really, man? This is ice cream. He's eating bananas over there.
Well, what's gonna happen is the one day they walk into the ice cream shop and or a friend just inadvertently gives him a spoonful of real ice cream.
Right.
And then that fucking kid's gonna be over with.
and then he's gonna eat, more than he would have ever if you'd given it to him at a young age. So
yeah. And then he's gonna hate his parents all at the same time for fucking lying to him.
Yeah. One common thing I heard when people heard that, we had a child on the way was like, look, man, just do the best you can. They're their own little creature, You're going to only be able to do so much, and don't worry that you can't do it all or control it all,
Yep.
You're not meant to.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a very good statement. Because you're right. I mean, as much as they are part of you and part of your wife, they are their own individual. And even at a young age, you see that come through majorly, where they had their lines in the sand, I have my lines in the sand. You're not going to do X, Y, and Z, but their lines in the sand, or you're going to give me fucking this, and they put their fucking foot down, and they will hold out and hold out and hold out. Yes, Pat. I mean, to the point where if we are driving down certain roads and he knows, say, Target is on this road or off of this road, or Walmart where he can get a toy. If we drive past, he knows, he'll know what direction we're heading in. He'll be like, yay! And we just literally are turning onto a road that probably is 3 miles away, but he knows that's the direction we go. And he'll be all excited. And then if we get to the store and continue to go, I mean, he will lose his mind. Red store, for Target. That's his keyword for Target. Please. And then he'll just pitch a fit and cry for 5 minutes. And to the point now that I make sure how I route if we're not going anywhere around these places, I will route it accordingly so that he doesn't even come close to these stores.
was a smart kid. I mean, you know, it's funny and it's scary the fact he's that smart and you're already dealing with, you know, an issue that complicated to a degree, right? You can't
Yeah.
even go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, wait until he figures out how to track your phone and he won't even be with you, call you up. Bring me back a toy. Uh,
Oh
yeah.
man, I hadn't even thought about that one. Oh shit.
No, and
Yeah.
I never even thought about, you know, like what you just brought up. That's wild, but they do, you know, they pair going to this store and with this memory, and especially if it's getting a new toy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
No, I mean, I guess I never really thought of it that way until he started doing that. And he started doing that. He knew what Target was or the Red Store by like 2 years old.
wow.
And he had figured out that they had the best selection of cars that he liked.
Yeah.
So that became his favorite store. And you know, we would cross over basically through the toll bridge, and you take a right, and that's the road that leads to Target. And it started then, and even to this day, he knows that's where you turn off. So if
Wow.
you pass that road, he's mad.
Fuck, man. Yeah,
I'm
you
just,
got your hands
giving you a
full.
little insight to probably what's going to happen at some point or another.
Oh yeah, I'm bracing myself for all of it. We're trying.
Yeah. But it is kind of rewarding at the same time to go to the store and let them pick out their toy and see the excitement. I do get a little mad when it gets discarded very quickly. I've done that many times. He just wanted this toy, got the toy, and brought it home, and 10 minutes later, he's fucking done with it. And it's like, all right, well, and I did that too many times. I did that a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. I bought there's we have containers of toys at this point. I mean, that he never even touches anymore.
Yeah.
So I made that mistake, but it was me, my first kid. Getting to experience that with the kid was fun, and made me feel a certain way. But then I realized, holy shit, I created a monster all at the same time.
Right.
I really did.
Yeah.
I really did.
And you know, I feel like a lot of parents that have really even entitled kids, you know, their intentions probably weren't that, you know, I'm going to raise my child to be entitled and be a brat. You know, they wanted the best for them and they went a little overboard and never drew any lines. And then, that kid learned.
Yeah, well, it's kind of come back to bite me a little bit because I talked a lot of shit about those parents.
Yeah.
I talked a lot of shit about those parents. So now I'm kind of, well, all right. I take back a few things because it can happen to anyone. I mean, I had to literally, we went to Walmart today, and I mean, I told him, he was gonna get one toy at the store, and we agreed. He even, he held his finger up. I got one toy. That's it. Not 5, not 2, 1. Okay, 1. We get in the store, and then he proceeds to. I mean, he's left. He likes to ride in the buggy in the actual cart now. So he will just stand up and just start raking shit. The fucking buggy.
Holy. It's a monster.
Yeah. Today it'll be like more. You know what I mean? He'll say that. I'll be like, more. This time wasn't as bad, but I've had to experience that even in the past week. And so this time, he couldn't decide between basically 2. So he just clung on. I mean, just locked them both in, and was not going to let them go. And I'm like, listen, you got two options here. You pick your one toy, or I'm gonna whoop your ass. That's what we're down to now. Like, you're gonna pick one toy, or you're gonna whoop your ass. And he proceeded, and finally, then out of the blue, he sees this other random toy that he hadn't seen, and he proceeds to like that one more than the other two that he had hung on to this entire time. And we walked away with one toy, but
it was really still his decision at the end of the day.
Basically, yeah.
Oh man, I'm in for it. Holy shit.
Yeah, you're in for it. Yeah, you really are. And look, I try to be careful with the screen time. I really do, because that one is bad. And so I've also let him, like, with the YouTube kids, there's like a lot of kids on YouTube, and all of that. And there's this one that he's found called Ryan. It's called Ryan's World. And I didn't realize, like, the extent of this little kid's empire. Like, this fucking kid has like toys at the store that, I mean, this kid has built a little empire. And so, he had watched this kid, and he's just basically playing with toys and showing you what the toys do, or like kind of just doing kid stuff, really. I mean, really just doing kid stuff. Well, Marshall was very much really taking a liking to this kid. And I didn't realize that this kid had toys. And the first time I realized that, we were going through a store, and all of a sudden he's yelling, Ryan, Ryan. And sure enough, I look over, there's a whole section of this fucking Ryan and all of his fucking toys. And I mean, he just lost his mind. And that is apparently his friend. He's his siblings had birthdays over the past couple weeks, and they had their friends over and all that stuff for birthdays. So he started on this kick. He wanted his friends to come over, which I'm like, what friends? What friends do you have? And he proceeds to tell me that he wanted Ryan to come over. And I'm like, and by the way, he's a horrible sharer. He does not share. He hates sharing. He's very stingy. And so I was like, so you want friends to come over? He's like, yeah. I was like, are you going to share your toys with friends? He was like, no. I was like, he was like, but Ryan. I was like, so if Ryan comes over, you want to share your toys with Ryan? He's like, yes. It's like, share my blanket, share my iPad. Wow. I'm like, oh, fuck me. Like this is, wasn't expecting that one.
Right.
So now that I've reeled that one out.
And while you're on this subject, I'm just going to spin off and say how crazy it is that we live in this world that, essentially there's influencers on all levels, including down to a kid, doing what an adult influencer would do. And that's just playing, using the items that we use and buy. That is crazy. Yes. I know. It's so new and wild.
I know. I never thought that. I mean, I wasn't even thinking of it that way. I thought that this was, because I've seen it. I've seen like little, YouTube kids with their dad or by themselves, and they're testing out toys and kind of talking about toys and just playing with toys. And I thought I thought this one was what it was. And, but you can only monitor it so much before you realize how commercialized it is before too damn late. Because some of them are on there, and that's the way it is. It's pretty innocent, no hidden agenda behind it as far as like anything bad or making money. There's no hidden agenda behind it. But this one, 100%. I mean, they have good for them. I'm not knocking it. I mean, makes me want to try the same damn thing. But
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, holy shit! Like this kid is a child influencer.
Right.
To your point,
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
true child influencer. So, and I was telling Nikki, I was like, listen, like this is the world we're going in. Like this is going to be a celebrity in his mind.
Right.
Even at probably like 7 years old, like he's going to have this influence on him of someone that he watched consistently and basically built this virtual relationship with, and he thinks that's his friend. I mean, that when he said that was his friend and when he was willing to share his toys with them and all, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, that one threw me for a loop. I'm not even gonna lie.
I know. No, and that's what I don't like understand about influencers in general and how people become consumed with them and they only buy the products they use and they shop where they do and they eat the food they do, and I don't understand that. But it is the world we live in, and it's like, fuck the traditional celebrities. You just find some social media influencer that you like and you become consumed with them, essentially.
Yep. I think you relate
to
them in some fashion, probably. I think what happens is there's an influencer that you relate to on some level.
Yeah.
But they exploit that in the sense where they make money off that. They monetize it, which I understand is a business. I get it, but I don't understand, to your point, how you can let someone that you have never met and you've only seen their forward personality on a camera influence what you do in life. I mean, because it's what's essentially happening is someone that you've never met as a virtual person is basically shaping your mind and your decisions.
Yeah, I know. No,
But
Cassie and I were just...
it really is the world. Yeah.
I know. No, the wife and I were just talking about how, we didn't understand on that people allow themselves to believe that this is someone's perfect life, when in reality, I know they know that, like, it's their perfect shot of their life, right? The perfect 3-second clip, the perfect picture, like, they're probably fucking miserable outside of that,
Yes. They frame it. They frame what they want you to see. And and that's what I this is getting a little deeper here, but that's what I see the world going to is we have a bunch of people, because almost everyone at this point is on some sort of social media, right? So you have people that are just framing their life for the world to see in certain segments, and you make your life look as good as it can look. And so we got all these people in this country just walking around acting like their life is perfect, and then it's making people jealous. It's making people envious, and it's making people try to be or replicate that. And all of that is fake anyway. I mean, you're only given the good part. And even if you had a bad day, you can still frame your life to look amazing.
I know. Recent surveys show that I guess loneliness and depression is like at its all-time high. But yet with social media, we're more quote unquote connected than we've ever been, and it's what, like you're saying, I think this whole even fear of missing out is definitely accelerating the fact of, well, yeah, if you scroll and see 30 videos that look really appealing or places that you want to be in that moment, of course you're going to have the fear of missing out. because
Yep.
you're at home not doing that. You're fucking wasting your
Yep.
time scrolling, and I'm guilty of it. I'll do, all of a sudden I'm like, what the fuck? And that's where actually set screen limits myself within apps. Like I give myself an hour a day between all the social media apps, because if I
Yeah.
don't, and it's kind of a good indicator, if I hit my limit at noon, okay, like I need to, so if it's like at nighttime, then, that's about right. Yeah. An hour spread over the course of 4 apps, 15 minutes a piece is not bad. But I mean, I had got, looking back at my history, it's like 2 hours in one day on one app. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
yeah.
Because it starts to shape your mind 100%. It's as much as we see through it, there's still an aspect of, if you participate, it's going to affect you in some manner. And I think that, number one, I think it does create some depression or loneliness, especially because if you're locked into your phone, well, you're not paying attention to what's going on around you.
Yeah.
Even people that are around you. I mean, I've been guilty of that myself, where you get, even if it's just, even playing, I love playing games on my phone. So, I get sucked into some games, and next thing I know, an hour has gone by, and
Yeah.
I haven't really noticed what's really going on around me. Well, I mean, that creates its own set of issues. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous path. I mean, it's his own world. Is it 100% his own world, and I think that people are content with that in a lot of ways, and people that normally would get out and go see people or hang out with their friends, or maybe go sit at a bar by themselves and interact with people, will just sit at home and do that, and they're perfectly content with that. And so, like, as much as you feel like you are part of this world that you are involved in at the moment, you're really not, and you're missing out on all of life in a lot of ways.
Very valid point. No, and I mean, I'm just very thankful that I have that awareness. I think that's more of the scary part, is seeing that some people don't, and they couldn't imagine their life without it. I know what life is without it. I can imagine life without it, and I can handle life without it. But a lot of people can't. And as we've talked about before, if that was to ever go down in some type of way, people would lose their fucking minds.
Well, I mean, you've had, over the past 3 weeks, I guess, you had the AT&T outage. People freaked the hell out. And then you had your Facebook outage this week.
Okay.
People freaked out. I mean, it's a little snippet to show you what happens when people lose their connectivity in every sense of the word, because that's what their life revolves around. And I mean, people literally freaked out on both of them. And I guess I'm a little more understanding, if your phone just completely doesn't have service for an entire day, that's a pretty big inconvenience in the world we live in now.
Right.
But people lost their mind over Facebook and Instagram going down. I mean, like basically all of Meta shut down for, they gave a number of people affected. I felt like it was a smaller number based off of the amount of feedback that I saw from people complaining about it. It was probably a larger number than that, but their world went down. Yeah, that was their world, and they lost it, and they didn't know what to fucking do. And that is fucking scary. That you lose social media and you freak out.
Yeah.
So, man, yeah, this is a whole nother topic. I think we can probably spend some time on at some point.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Well, hey, it's been great. This is a little taste of what's to come, right?
Yeah. No, I like it.